peeps, welcome back to Lex and Big T's extravaganza. Now, oops, I need to use the bathroom. No, but seriously, hey peeps, welcome back to Lex and Big T's extravaganza. Now, unfortunately, I was unable to get the breastfeeding video off of my laptop, that retarded piece of crap. Looks like I'm just gonna have to buy a new laptop to edit and do stuff on. So, being that, I may slow down on the amount of videos that I'm making, but that doesn't mean you guys should slow down on your requests, because I really do appreciate all the requests that you guys give or that you suggest. That way I can make more videos for you and more of what you're looking to watch, okay? Now, when I looked at when I watched other breastfeeding videos from other YouTubers, a lot of the women and the mothers, like, they had, like, their whole boobs out on camera and, like, showing you, like, the place of the boob and what to suck and what not to suck and so forth. I'm pretty sure most of us know basic anatomy and physiology, so I don't need to have all my tatas, out and stuff. Okay, and for those who don't, or if you're a guy watching this video trying to get closer to, your wife and learn more about breastfeeding or her pregnancy or whatever it is, then, just use your wife's body for the basic anatomy and physiology. Okay? I try to film while he's asleep, but he always tends to fuss, like, while I'm recording the video. I guess when he hears my voice or whatever the case is. But yeah, so as I was saying, I'm not gonna put my tatas all out there. You guys can use, go online, look for, pictures or whatever you need to do in order to get the full understanding. But I'm gonna be as descriptive as I can. Okay, now, shall we begin? Let's first start by saying that when you first start breastfeeding, it's going to hurt. It's gonna hurt. It's gonna hurt. Now, I know there's a lot of people who doesn't have patience with pain. And let me tell you, I'm one of those people. I don't like pain. I don't know how to handle pain. I can't deal with pain. I hate pain with a passion. But the thing is, if you want your baby to get the best nutrients, the best vitamins, the most natural, immunity and all that stuff, then you're gonna do what you have to do. And that's what I kept thinking about every time I, breastfed Makai. In the beginning, I was so frustrated with breastfeeding. I used to cry at times because it was so hard and, like, it would hurt and could never get a proper latch. But now I'm like, I'm a veteran, guys. I'm a vet. But yeah, now I'm a vet. Like, I got this thing down, pat, 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 you know? So let's start with the boob. Now, the boob, the whole brown part of your boob, including the nipple, is called the areola. Now, when you do get your baby to latch on, you do want them to latch onto your whole areola. Of course, some people have bigger areolas than others, so you're not going to get the whole areola, but you want to get as much of your areola as possible into the baby's mouth. You don't want the baby sucking on your nipple. If your baby's just sucking on the nipple, that is a bad latch. And with a bad latch, a lot of things can happen. And trust me, I am speaking from experience. One of the things being that the baby can suck onto your nipple and it can damage your nipple. The other thing being you can start bleeding. These are all things that happen to me. Your nipple can start pilling. You'll be in constant pain. Remember, when a baby's a newborn, they have to eat every 2 hours. So your nipples will still be sore and in pain before your next feeding. And you don't want that. With Makai, I used to get a lot of bad latches, and I used to be so upset and frustrated and aggravated, and I was just like, man, how do I get him to latch on properly? Like, I used to have his dad come and help me. Like, his dad would hold him, and, like, I'll hold the nipple, and he'll be like, all right, ready, set, and, like, we'll, like, put it around his nose so he can smell and, like, open his mouth and be like, go, and then boom, like, pop it in his mouth so he can hurry up and get a good latch. And, like, eventually I started to, like, be able to get him to latch on by himself, in the beginning, the most comfortable position that I was comfortable, the most comfortable position for me when it came to Makai latching was the football position. And that's the position where his head is here and you have his body going that way, and then you're holding them like this, and he's drinking this way with his head turned this way. You're not holding him this way, you're holding him this way. Like, So I used to hold him that way, and I used to have, like, it was easier for him to latch on that way. I always got a good latch holding him that way. But it was so uncomfortable having him latch on that way. I used to always have to get, like, a pillow because my arm would get tired. Get a pillow, put it under my arm, or put it under him, and put him here, and then try to get him to latch and all that stuff. I would have to squan. What the heck is a squan? So always have to go forward this way and, like, stay in this position like this just to get him to like suck on properly and stuff, and it was like so uncomfortable. So eventually I started to like practice with the other positions and like get him on properly. So now I can get him in football. I don't even use football anymore because that is like mad uncomfortable for me, but I always have him in a swaddle position, or like if I'm laying and he's laying right next to me, those kind of positions. But I, or like he's up this way, but I don't even get him like in the football position anymore. But those are like multiple positions that you can use, which is football, the swaddle position, the upward position where you have them like this, or the position where they're like, I don't know how to explain it, but like he's this way. But that's how I usually have him. He's usually lying on his side and I'm lying on my side and he's this way. Now, with all these positions, you know, it's still always up to you to make sure that you try your best to get a good latch with the baby. The baby's not going to know what a bad latch is. In the beginning, I used to be like, you know what? Like, when he'll get a bad latch and I got tired of trying, I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to leave him with his bad freaking latch. And as long as he's getting some milk, I'm good. You know, like, you know, and I'll be like, I'll just take the pain for a little bit. And I would do that. And then after that, I would squeeze my nipples. And when the milk comes out, I would, like, put it around my nipple, because that helps your nipple to heal after a bad latch, or like, you know, if it's in pain or whatever, it helps soothe the pain. You know, like if breast milk can help with that, imagine what else breast milk is good for. So you want to breastfeed your child. But yeah, so I would do that, you know, to help with the healing and to help with the, you know, pain and stuff. And like my nipples would be like good by the next feeding. And you know, you never constantly put them on the same nipple. Like, you're not gonna breastfeed them here and then 2 hours coming, you're gonna breastfeed them here again. No, you're gonna switch nipples. So that gives this nipple a good 4 hours to, you know, heal and rejuvenate or whatever before he has to go back on it again. So yeah, so like I was saying, that's with the proper latching with the nipples and stuff. Another thing is food. When it comes to breast milk, I know that a lot of doctors say, yo, what you eat has nothing to do with your milk supply and how much you eat, and it doesn't matter, blah, 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 fluids, all that don't matter about your milk, blah, 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 blah. That's wrong. Now, speaking from experience, the reason why I say that's wrong is because I remember I tested it out, but that's after I started formula feeding him as well. I used to formula feed him and breastfeed him at the same time, so I was not like not feeding him or like malnutrition or anything like that. So I went like a whole day without really eating and stuff, and like my jugs were like so flat and like they weren't heavy. They felt like they had nothing in them. I tried to pump, nothing was coming out. Like when I tell you guys, I'm like, man, clearly ain't nothing there to come out. Like, it's not as much as it should be. Now let me tell you, the day after, my mom made this Haitian dish for me called bouillon. If you're Caribbean, if you're Haitian, you know what bouillon is. It's like water that's like, you know, a flavory like soup that's boiled with vegetables, potatoes, spinach, what else, plantains in it. It has meat in it, yams, carrots, green beans, whole bunch of stuff in it. Like, but it's like really, really good, and it's supposed to be like a soup, like a vegetable soup. It's like a very good vegetable soup, and usually my mom, you know, makes it with goat or beef or whatever it is. So she made the bouillon for me. I had like that whole day, I probably had like 3 bowls of them things, and then the next day I had like 2 more bowls or whatever. Like by the next morning, sorry about that, but not even the next morning, like that evening, like my boobs are heavy. Like I can feel the milk, like the weight of the milk in my tatas. Like my boobs are heavy. I was like, when I went and took a nap, I was drenched in milk. Like I was pumping. I pumped like 2 5-ounce bottles. I wish I can show you the bottle. 1 second. Here it is. I pumped like 2 of these. Like I had one for each boobs, and even then I had like a whole bunch of milk left over, supply left over. In the beginning, when I used to try to pump, I used to get not even an ounce in this bottle. Like I probably was like up to here. Like in the beginning, like when I first started breastfeeding, like I had no milk coming on. Like it took time and time for me to start pumping for me to actually get milk. Now I pump without a problem. In the beginning, I remember when I first started, my first time I ever pumped, I pumped for like 2-3 hours straight and only got 1 ounce of milk. And I was so pissed. And I was like, my boobs are sore. I'm just going to let him drink it from the boobs. And then eventually, gradually, now I probably could pump like a 4-ounce bottle in like an hour, hour and a half, you know. So I know that might not seem that fast to you guys, but from where I came from 2 months ago, because Makai is now 2 months, that's a lot of milk for me. Because, mind you, before 1 hour and a half, I was not even pumping 1 ounce. So that's a big deal for me. But yeah, so I pumped 2 of these. I had a whole bunch of milk left over. You know, I made sure I was drinking fluids that day too. And like I had a lot of milk. My supply was like mad up there. So that's why when the doctors are like, oh no, that has nothing to do with it. Because I remember my mom was telling me, like, if you don't eat, you're not going to have enough milk for the baby. The baby's not going to get the nutrients and the vitamin that he needs. So she was like, the more you put in, the more you're giving out. And my midwife told me the same thing. She's like, every time the baby's breastfeeding, you need to be eating something. When he eats, you eat. When he eats, you eat. Because he's going to be draining you, and you're going to be drained, which is true. You start to get weak. You start to feel drained. You get hungry as often. Postpartum and breastfeeding is like being pregnant all over again, at least in my opinion, because when I was pregnant, I had a lot of nausea and morning sickness, so I wasn't eating that much. But now that I'm breastfeeding, I'm eating more than I was eating when I was pregnant. So I'm just like, what? Trying to understand it, but I'm just filling my appetite. I'm eating, even though my appetite grew more than it was before. But it's not really a bother for me. It is what it is. But all I'm saying is what comes in does come out. Even though they be like, oh, your stomach has nothing to do with the breast milk. Yeah, but the vitamins, the nutrients, all that stuff. It does go into the breast milk, the liquid. When you drink water, staying hydrated, that also helps with your breast milk and your milk supply. So keep all of that into consideration. Okay, guys? Yeah. So I'm not sure what else there is to cover. I covered the making sure you latch on properly, your milk supply, the different types of hold that you can do. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. Just try your best to breastfeed. There's a lot of benefits of breastfeeding. You guys can go ahead and do that research on your own. But there's a lot of benefits that come with breastfeeding, including immunity. There's a 50-50 trial runs, like 50-50 thing about whether the immunizations that you take goes onto the breast milk towards your baby. There's a lot of studies that show that it do, and then there's studies that show that it don't. I'm not sure. I'm going to test it on my own. I'm going to strictly breastfeed Makai. I don't plan on vaccinating him. So due to the fact that I don't plan on vaccinating him, I'm just going to get him to do a titers test, or titers, whatever it's called, when he's around maybe 3 or 4, and do that test and see if he's immune to anything. Hopefully he'll naturally get immune to things, like he'll get sick on his own and overcome the sickness, because that's how we used to do it back in the days. So go ahead and judge me if you want. I don't care, but I don't want my baby getting immunizations. I've seen babies who got immunizations and read articles and watched videos on things, on certain immunizations that make babies worse than what they are. And if you know what they put in these damn vaccines and vaccinations, you wouldn't want it to even be in yourself. So like I said, don't even do that to yourself, or your child. But if you choose to each its own. I'm not judging you. Don't judge me. To each its own. Everybody has their own opinion. But me personally, I'm choosing to take the road that I'm taking. Without further ado, I'm not sure what else that I can say about breastfeeding. That breast milk can stay out for at least 4 to 5 hours. It can stay in the refrigerator for up to 7 days, and it can stay in the freezer, I think, for up to a month or 2, something like that. But I know that breast milk lasts longer than the formula does. Formula can't even stay out for 30 minutes or an hour before it starts looking nasty or tasting disgusting. You can't even put it in the refrigerator. The formula I use, though, can stay out for up to 2 hours, which is the Sunshine formula. And it can stay in the refrigerator for up to 24 hours. So that's nothing compared to the breast milk, but it's not as bad as the Infamil and stuff. And it actually still tastes good, and it doesn't look disgusting or look like it's rotting or anything like that. So thumbs up for that formula. Don't forget to like and subscribe below, guys. Give me a thumbs up if you like this video. Tell a friend so they can tell a friend so they can tell a friend. And yeah, until next time, peeps. And don't be afraid. Leave a comment below and let me know what you want to see. Deuces.